I was about to say open the Padme hell, but some other guy named Anakin already did that. Okay, good morning, everybody. I'm dying laughing this morning because now you've got Millie Gibson on the bandwagon doing all this press. I couldn't tell anyone that I wasn't secretly fired from Doctor Who, and I'm like, yeah, I'm sure it was a drag. I'm sure, yeah, every media service on the planet, especially down in Costa Rica where you spend most of your time, was just harassing you about that. I'm sure nobody's going to take pictures of you in a bikini anymore. Ugh. I'm sure your Instagram page has really seen a drop. I'm not kidding. I really wish that, I could only work like a month or two a year and then get, enough money that I could go spend the rest of it in a nice sunny beach locale. Then again, they'd throw me off the beach. They claim I'm an old pervert, which is probably the truth. But, it's just insane what some of these celebrities go on about. I'm like, you know what something else I can't stand before we really get going? These stupid ass Bloomberg ads. You've got this beautiful, intelligent British woman sitting there on a bench. If they say a bird in the hand is worth two in the bush, I'd say I need to know more about these birds. And I'm like, how could you even read that dialogue with a straight face? Talk about professional actor. If a rising tide lifts all boats, well, I can't remember the rest of that one because it's just dumb shit. I'm like, that's almost like, me turning around and doing one of these ads. I'm sitting there in a boat or I'm sitting there on a little bench and I turn around and go, if I take a shit in a hotel and I realize there is no bidet, is it okay to wash your ass in the shower? I'm not kidding. It's just, God, it's mind-bogglingly stupid. And the ads are getting more and more ridiculous. I die laughing. There's a lot of these people. Why did you unsubscribe from my channel? Because I used to really enjoy your channel. Matter of fact, your content is still top notch. But when in the space of probably not even an hour podcast, most cases it's just over a half hour, say, you've had two paid product placements, which means you can't skip them because it's the host thinking they're the 21st century equivalent of Paul Harvey, and they do a segue, and the next, oh gosh. I wish I could just do those with a straight face. This segment of Dr. Freedom is brought to you by Trojan Condoms. You know why I'm a big sponsor of Trojan Condoms? Because if it weren't for one of their leaky ones, I probably wouldn't be here. It's like, and then they do these like little mini commercials that are sometimes up to like 5 minutes long, it seems. Now you've got the, your, say, hour-long podcast. Now you've had two 5-minute paid product placements. Now add in the fact they always set the ads now to max. And some of these ads now are mini documentaries that if you don't skip them, they'll go on and on and on and on. It's like a freaking, what do you call it? Those old infomercial shows they'd had up back on the day after midnight. The hour-long thing about, set it and forget it bullshit. I'm like, that's what I mean. We already knew that Millie was going to be back for series 2. You're right, Mark. So I don't know what she's complaining about. Ugh. It's like I said, I wish I could, do a job that only, has me work for like a couple months of the year. Then I go stand around, take a picture of myself with parts of me hanging out, get paid money for it on Instagram, what do you call it, sell those pictures to magazines, make money, and just hang out on the beach for another like 6 months. Ugh. I should film that one commercial, call it for like Blumborg or something like that. If I take a shit in a hotel and I turn around and realize there's no bidet, is it okay to wash my ass in the shower? Ugh. Let's see here. So yeah, Millie Gibbo, of course, complaining, and I'm dying laughing because of the fact that once again Jodie's landing work left and right. Remember, she's the talentless actress nobody wants, and so far I think she's landed more jobs in the last just few years than Matt Smith did the entire time he was unemployed for House of the Dragon, uh, times five. And hello to South Africa. All right. I died laughing because we've also got all these rallies going on in the country. At least these guys are rallying about something like somebody's put out this thing. I can't remember the name of it was. At least somebody ain't running around shouting about Palestine. It's like, worry about the shit going on in your own backyard first. Oh, the war at home's the tougher one you got to worry about. The death of Bunny Monroe. Okay. Sounds weird. So it's Bunny Monroe. Is that related to Bugs Bunny or Marilyn Monroe? All right. So once again, yeah, we've not heard anything further that I can find on the missing episode thing. But like I said, I'm remaining optimistic, at least on that front. They're still trying to sweep the fat under the rug. That you're not going to hear anything about Doctor Who, the main show, until literally after the spinoff airs. And I'm not really all that happy about the spinoff. But like I said, I'll watch it and I'll evaluate it from there. But oh man, just not a lot to talk about today, other than, like I said, Millie complaining because, my life's so tough. Yeah, you spent how many months a year in Costa Rica? Ugh. She must stand out like a sore thumb down there. Ugh. Then again, maybe she would blend in with all the other tanned, oiled up tourists. I don't know. But like I said, it's just weird, weird times we live in. And it always is weird, weird times you live in. Let's see, who are we complaining about today as well? Thankfully, Greta's died down. Especially now that the truth's coming out on the Freedom Flotilla that they had barely enough food to feed themselves on them boats, let alone anybody else in Gaza if they got to the shore. Okay, that sounded distinctly racist, so we won't repeat it. But like I said, people would just wake up and realize, how much, how many times mankind has been on this merry-go-round. It's just crazy. Like, one of my favorite ones, to read about the Olmec civilization. We know so little about the Olmec other than these big, giant 20-ton stone heads they carved out. And it's like, yeah, you know why you know so little about them? Because it was a choice. We saved that Olmec city over there, which we believe was built by them, for study and maybe learn a lot about them, or we build that oil refinery. They built the oil refinery. Not one stone of that damn city stands today. Oh. What else we got going on? Oh, we're finding all this stuff. Of course, you're going to keep finding stuff you didn't know was out there because no one wants to know about it. It's just weird. There's no way there could be an incredibly advanced civilization out there we don't know about. I said, are you kidding me? Give us 10,000 years. If we ever go, the only thing left of us could be Mount Rushmore, maybe parts of Hoover Dam, and maybe Lenin's preserved body if they keep him going over there. But and the Scientology documents. That's right. They have entire divisions of this particular quote-unquote religion that are out there carving tablets and being kept in the thing so they be preserved for the future. And I'm like, please, no. Let the meteor hit there. Because I don't want people thinking we were all Scientologists if there's any records left, okay? On the other hand, maybe I should start my own church, the Church of Bryantology. Hello, everyone out there. If you give me just a mere $100,000, I can get you on the first steps towards spiritual enlightenment. And then, by the time you've spent maybe a couple million, I'll tell you about Xenu. Oh, that is some of the most whacked out shit I've ever read about. But like I said, you can tell I'm on a bit of a tirade because we're all still here waiting, and waiting, to find out, okay, are we ever going to get an air date for War Between the Land and the Sea next year? I have an eerie prediction we're not going to find out anything more about War Between the Land and the Sea probably till after the first of the year. If we see anything before that, maybe a Christmas promo, I'll be shocked. Of course, they don't want to admit the main show's in limbo. They already know people's kind of figured out the Billy Piper thing was just a gag, literally thrown in at the last minute, since Billy's already told people at multiple conventions she was called in literally at the last minute to do that little, oh, hello there type deal. And that was, I think, just RTD's way of saying F you to anyone who tries to take up the show if this goes south. And as much as, like I said, I wouldn't mind seeing Billy Piper as the Doctor. I got no problem with it. But the thing is, how are they going to pay her? They better hope they get that Disney money because she ain't cheap anymore. It's... Oh, gosh, no, you don't... Like I said, don't get me started on Dimensions in Time. Yeah, I'm glad they had all the Doctors and all these particular companions back for that one particular event. But really, EastEnders? Who the hell outside the UK is going to know what the hell EastEnders is? Then again, anybody who would know that's kind of like, the guys who are spotting, I actually saw this in a photo, and it's something you've never seen, and you can't unsee it once you see it. Somebody blew up a picture from Empire Strikes Back. And I can't remember if it was when, the Millennium Falcon was inside the big, thing, creature eating whatever asteroid or whatever. But it's Princess Leia leaned over. She's got her hand on Han Solo's shoulder. And this isn't photoshopped. And they zoomed up and you can actually see Carrie Fisher's coke nail. And I'm like, so let me get this straight. You spent hours trying to locate and isolate a picture of Carrie Fisher's hand just so you can tell us something we all already knew. Especially if you've watched the Star Wars Holiday Special. You could tell she was coked out of her mind on that thing. Oh. And I'm not saying anything bad. She'd probably be the first to admit it. But nevertheless, it is Tuesday. Monday's ugly sister. Wednesday's distant cousin they don't talk about. And trust me, you don't want to see the Star Wars Holiday Variety Special. I saw it as a kid. I must have fallen asleep during it because I thought it was the greatest thing since sliced bread. Watch it again as an adult, and I'm like, what the hell is this shit? Kind of like when I went back and rewatched Transformers, the original animated series, because somebody had it all up on YouTube, and I'm like, my God, I watched this shit. And I complain about weak plot lines and most of the things I watch now. But okay, Antophilia and Wednesday, just don't make it a damn singer turned actor. I don't know. If I really wanted to go particularly insane and really shoot for the stars, I don't know why, but the name Meryl Streep popped into my head. But then again, if you want to go really kind of crazy, there's so many others. Of course, like there's Helena Bonham Carter. She always does great nutsy characters. See, I don't know. Like I said, there's a lot of great actors who could pull that off. Oh, heck, I just looked at the time. I've got to get my ass inside. Well, everybody, like I said, enjoy your Tuesday. It's kind of a cold, rainy one here right now. Well, it's not really rainy now, but it's moist. So please, be kind, be calm, be safe. Enjoy the rest of your day. I'll catch you all on the flip side because I got to get inside and get this day started. So please, be kind, be calm, be safe. Enjoy your Tuesday. Have a great one. If I can hit the button. Hang on.